financial stability, peace of mind, room to grow and play, better health, brighter futures.
In your community and around the world right now, neighbors are helping neighbors build masterpieces of their own.
Visit Habitat.org to learn more and get involved today.
The views expressed in the following program do not necessarily represent the views of the staff and management of WVUA 23.
Bringing you analysis and insight into the Crimson Tide. Your Crimson Cover hosts, John Copeland, Mike Parker, and Chase Goodbread. Sponsored by Burnham Hahn and by Crimson Village.
Welcome into Crimson Cover Television on WVUA 23. I'm Chase Goodbread, the sports columnist with the Tuscaloosa News, joined by our senior recruiting analyst, Mike Parker, to my left. So great to have Mike back on the show as we close out 2022 here on Crimson Cover. And, of course, to my right, Big John Copeland, the 1992 Alabama All-American defensive end. And we are thrilled to be here at Crimson Village, one of our title sponsors, the most active and fun-loving aging adult community in all of Tuscaloosa, right off of Veterans Memorial Parkway. We're going to be talking to the transition specialist, Tim Eaves, who we mentioned to you on a weekly basis here on Crimson Cover. He's going to be with us in the final segment, tell us about a new building over here at Crimson Village. But we've got a lot to get to where Alabama sports are involved. Certainly at the top, the Alabama-Kansas State Sugar Bowl. We're going to be previewing that for you. We've also got a little bit of recruiting news. We got the pick segment and plenty more. But we start with a look at the Sugar Bowl. The Crimson Tide will officially be taking on Kansas State on New Year's Eve, although it won't be in the evening. It'll be an 11 a.m. kickoff, kind of unusual for sure for an Alabama postseason game to be kicking off at 11 in the morning. Alabama comes in 10-2 on the season, of course, 6-2 in SEC play. Kansas State comes into the game 10-3 on the year, 8-2 in Big Ten action. And of course, that game will be in New Orleans at the Caesars Superdome, broadcast on ESPN. And John, as we talk about this game, certainly as we sit here now, about 10 days before Christmas, the big question on everybody's mind is, will Alabama's best two players suit up? Bryce Young, Will Anderson, both guys going to be big-time first-round NFL draft picks. In this day and age, if you're not in the playoff, those type of guys all over the country are skipping bowls. Alabama fans waiting to see what happens there.
Chase, I won't be surprised at all if both of those guys opt out. I think it's smart for them to opt out when you're that kind of talent and you've done what you've done in college football, and you're not playing in the playoff or with the chance to win a national championship. Why play? It doesn't make sense. It can only hurt you.
Bryce Young and Will Anderson, obviously big years for both of those guys. Will Anderson just cleaned up some awards. We'll tell you about that in a couple minutes. Mike, your thoughts on the opt-out decision for these two guys?
I'm 50-50. I understand what John's saying. The money's too much to turn down, but I'm still old school. I like to see them play, but I understand with the cash money.
Going to be an interesting lineup for sure for the Crimson Tide if those two guys sit out, two of the very best players in all of college football. Defensively for Alabama, John, they've got to stop one of the best or most explosive, certainly, running backs in the country, Deuce Vaughn. Different type of running back. This guy's got 1,400 yards on the season. And
he can play.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
He can play.
Here's what's interesting, though, John. This guy's only 5'6" and 170 pounds. I mean, that's little. Doesn't matter when he's open the field. You still gotta get a tackle on.
He plays a lot bigger than that.
He's strong.
Yeah, no question.
He's strong, and he's fun to watch. So Alabama taking on a really versatile kid, really good out of the backfield, receiving the football as well. But when he gets in the open field tackling is going to be a big deal for that Alabama defense on this guy. A couple other key Kansas State players to watch for in the Sugar Bowl, Will Howard or Adrian Martinez. Not quite clear what they'll do at the quarterback position. Both those guys played quite a bit of football for the Wildcats in 2022. Malik Knowles, their top receiver, a couple of top defenders, Julius Brents and Austin Moore at the linebacker position. The letdown factor, Mike, always something to talk about as well. You got to go back to the 2008 season when Alabama went to the Sugar Bowl against Utah. They'd had championship aspirations kind of ripped out of them against Florida a few weeks earlier. They get beat by Utah. Is this a letdown team because they didn't make the playoff, or do you think they'll finish strong?
I think they'll finish strong. I think Alabama fans are spoiled. That's what I think. I mean, you go.
You don't count yourself in that group, though.
Not with this subject.
Okay.
10-2 is great anywhere.
It is. It is.
So no, I
don't mean for the fans, though. I mean for the players. Are the players going to be motivated for the game when they did not make the playoff?
Probably not.
That's what I'm getting at.
Okay, well,
here.
probably not.
Okay.
I disagree. Most probably, you're right. Most of them probably not. But I think the fan base is still going to watch the game. They can say how much this team didn't achieve, or how much this team should have achieved, but they're still going to watch the football game. When that game comes on December 31st, they're all going to be tuned in watching.
Got to get my hat back on.
My concern about this whole thing is with the guys opting out and the guys that are entering the transfer portal, we are light. We are going to be extremely light as a football team. And do we have enough weapon to beat a team like Kansas State? Yeah. I don't know.
I think it's 13 guys have entered the transfer portal so far. May have a couple of big opt-outs on top of that. We just talked about that. Will Anderson, the aforementioned, absolutely mopped up the national awards this past week. He became the first two-time unanimous first-team All-American in Alabama history. Certainly very impressive. They're all the All-Americans that Alabama's had. No one's ever done that until Will Anderson. He wins the Nagurski Award, the Bednarik Award. He won the Lombardi Award. He won the Lott Trophy. John, this guy is, and I understand he didn't have quite as big a year as a junior as he did as a sophomore, still one of the very best players in the country.
There's no question about it, Chase. One of the best players ever come through here to wear that crimson jersey. Can't take anything away from the young man. Look, you played like you played his sophomore season. You're going to get a whole lot more attention in your junior season. And the guy was playing double team, triple team sometime throughout the entire season, and he still was effective.
All right, a little bit of transfer portal news for you as well. We just mentioned about 12 or 13 guys. Aaron Anderson, former five-star wide receiver, enters the transfer portal along with a couple other receivers, JoJo Earl, Trayshawn Holden. That's where it's been a big blow at that position in the portal.
Both the wide receivers that are leaving surprised me.
Holden, I don't see that. I didn't see that.
6'3", 220. I thought he was going to be good, but he's leaving. And the Anderson kid, I thought would eventually get playing time, but he wasn't getting it early enough.
He was hurt. And when he came back, I think his first game was Austin Peay.
That could be right.
So that's what happened there. All right, really quickly, before we get out of here on our first segment, 7 Alabama players accept bids to the Reese's Senior Bowl. Tyler Steen, Emil Ekiyor on the offensive line, Byron Young, DJ Dale on the defensive line, Cam Latu, DeMarco Helms, Will Reichard, all on their way to the Senior Bowl as well. Looking forward to see how those guys perform. All right, plenty more to come when we come back. An Alabama basketball update for you, some recruiting news as well. Stick around. We're having a great time here at Crimson Village. We'll see you on the other side of the break.
Burnham Hahn Exterminators offers termite and pest control solutions for residential and commercial customers in the West Alabama area. Family owned and operated, now in its 3rd generation, we stay up to date with the latest advancements in the pest control industry to protect your family and home from pests. We're an authorized operator of the Centricon baiting system. Burnham Hahn Exterminators, here when you need us. Call us today for your complete termite and pest control services.
Mask guidelines have relaxed. But it's still okay to wear your mask if you feel at risk. And while we're gathering again in large groups, you should still protect yourself against COVID by getting tested if you have COVID symptoms and staying up to date on vaccines. And that helps keep everyone healthy. Brought to you by the Alabama Department of Public Health.
There's a formula for success. It takes practice, persistence, and an unwavering drive. Together, our aspirations become reality. Every triumph has its origin story. Ours begin right here, the University of Alabama, where legends are made.
If you or a loved one has mesothelioma or any other asbestos-related cancer, call now. Asbestos manufacturers sold deadly asbestos materials to thousands of companies, putting workers at risk. An estimated $30 billion in court-ordered trusts have been set aside to pay out claims to asbestos victims. You may be entitled to a portion of these funds and receive compensation without filing a lawsuit or ever going to court.
For your free legal consultation, call 1-800-804-5228. That's 1-800-804-5228. I'm a non-attorney spokesperson.
Welcome back into Crimson Cover Television on WVUA 23. Chase Goodbread, Mike Parker, John Copeland with you. Talking Alabama basketball here from Crimson Village, the best senior living facility in all of Tuscaloosa. We're so glad to be here. Again, we're going to be talking to transition specialist Tim Eads a little bit later in the program. We start here, though, by talking some Alabama basketball. Nate Oates' program just flat out on fire. They knock off the #1 team in the country, Houston, this past weekend. Then they turn around, they beat Memphis 91-88 in Coleman Coliseum. John, this team has beaten 2 #1s now this year. It's the first time since 1965 that anybody's beaten 2 #1s before New Year's Eve. Duke did it back in '65. When you're breaking records that go back to 1960s Duke in basketball, you're doing okay, I think.
That's right. Chase, this team, man, this team is different. It's, and I was hard on these guys coming out early in the season, and I wanted to see more, and they have shown me more. These guys get out there on the defensive end of the floor, and when they get hot, they can shoot the lights out.
Brandon Miller, 24 points and 8 rebounds to lead Alabama's win over Memphis. Again, that final score was 91-88. Mark Sears, the guard transfer from Muscle Shoals, he chipped in 18 points. And Noah Clowney, another freshman who's been a really consistent contributor, 11 points, 9 rebounds, 3 blocks. Mike, this basketball team, especially with all these freshmen, has just been phenomenal.
It is. It's great to see. They're long, they're lengthy, they can shoot the rock, and they're #1 in the country in rebounds. #1. I don't know how that's
the only
possible.
stats that matter in basketball.
Well, yeah, it's a big
rebounds.
one. They're shooting about 35% as a team from beyond the arc. But I just think the size, everybody off guard.
Can they keep this pace? You just think about it, guys. You've beaten 2 #1s. You play a Memphis team that is not that great on paper, and you kind of struggle. Is it because of the intensity and the high and the emotional games they played the few weeks before they played Memphis? Do you get drained? Do you get just mentally and physically drained from having to play at such a high intensity?
First of all, I like Memphis more than you do. I think they're going to be right there in the tournament when it comes.
I think they'll make the tournament, but I don't think they're going to be a factor.
That said, Nate Oates kind of alluded to that coming out of the Houston game. He said, we'll see how we respond, right? Because they had to play Memphis just 3 days after they beat Houston. And Oates was saying, look, we're coming off of a #1, another win over a #1 team. Are they going to be mature enough to handle playing a good Memphis team 3 days later? They certainly were. But now they turn around again. This is how tough the schedule Nate Oates put together, John. Turn around again now. They're facing Gonzaga on Saturday in Birmingham. Gonzaga, I think, is ranked they're in the top 20, 15, 18, somewhere in that range. So here comes another test right after Memphis.
It's tough. It's tough. I mean, I'm sure the guy knew what he was doing when he put the schedule together. And look, if you want to be one of the best programs in the country, then you have to play and beat the best programs in the country.
And that's exactly the schedule that Nate Oates set up for this year.
That Gonzaga game, again, is going to be on Saturday at noon, tip-off, and, of course, it'll be broadcast on CBS. So you can certainly catch that game on the TV or head over to Birmingham and see what should be a fantastic game. A little bit of news, negative news on the basketball front for Alabama. Mike, Nimari Burnett is going to miss 6 to 8 weeks with a broken wrist. This is the Texas Tech transfer who's come in and given Alabama some pretty good minutes, especially defensively. He could shoot, but I feel like Nate Oates kind of had a role carved out for this kid for big defensive minutes, sometimes off the bench. He's played some really good defense, but he's going to be sitting out a while.
The injury could be worse, so I'm actually not ticked off about it, but you are right. Defensively, the boy can play, and he'll be missed, but I think we got plenty of players that can step in and do a great job.
All right. Again, Alabama taking on Gonzaga this weekend, and we'll be updating UA Hoops again when we come back in the new year. Just a quick programming note, by the way, this will be our final show of the calendar year. We'll be back in early January. All right, recruiting news for you now. Signing day coming at you next Wednesday. Of course, this is the early signing period. There's another one in February that's the more traditional signing day, although the way things are these days, almost nobody signs in February anymore. Everybody loads up and signs for this early December period. It's going to start on Wednesday. A couple of recent commitments for Alabama, Mike. A 5-star edge rusher, Keon Keeley. A lot of schools wanted him. Big kid, 6'6", 242 pounds from Tampa. Comes out of Berkeley Prep. And the other one, also an edge rusher. This one, a smaller, faster guy, 4-star, Sterling Dixon, 6'3", 211 from Mobile Christian. I had a chance to meet him actually a couple weeks ago when I visited Ronnie Cottrell, the head coach down there at Mobile Christian. But what about these two, Mike?
Keon Keeley, I've seen a lot more of him than Dixon. I think he's the best in the country at rushing the passer. You mentioned he was 6'5", 240. I think he's going to play at 260. So he'll have that speed and he'll have that weight.
So you're looking at jack linebacker with this kid?
Or defensive end.
Really?
I think so.
If he's already 242 in high school, by the time you get to be a junior, he'll be around 260.
Yeah.
265.
He's tall and lengthy. And Sterling Dixon.
Speaking of gain weight, 211 pounds for a pass rusher, John. That's pretty light.
He's young.
That's what they're doing now.
What is he right now? Is he a junior or senior? What is he?
He's a junior. So he's got another year in high school. Maybe he's 220 after that.
Anytime you see a 6'3" frame, though, you can put weight on the 6'3" frame.
Right, right. And that is a great point. Sterling Dixon is going to sign in 2024. Not 2023. All right, when we come back on Crimson Cover, we're going to be talking to Tim Eads, the transition specialist right here at Crimson Village Senior Living. We'll have the picks and plenty more. Looking forward to talking to Tim on the other side. Stick around. You're watching CCTV on WVUA 23.
It's good to know that in this impersonal world, there's still a local home-owned drugstore that can take full care of you and your family.
The good folks at Northport Pharmacy. Owner and pharmacist Rob Colburn will personally see that all of your prescriptions are quickly and accurately filled and your questions answered. And be sure to check out their gift gallery for the finest in gift selections featuring Alabama merchandise, photo frames, children's clothing, beachwear, jewelry, and more. Remember, when you have pharmaceutical needs, see the man who will take the time to get to know you. Rob Colburn at Northport Pharmacy, located next to CC's Pizza, Highway 82 in Northport. Burnham Hahn Exterminators offers termite and pest control solutions for residential and commercial customers in the West Alabama area. Family owned and operated, now in its third generation, we stay up to date with the latest advancements in the pest control industry to protect your family and home from pests. We're an authorized operator of the Centricon baiting system. Burnham Hahn Exterminators, here when you need us. Call us today for your complete termite and pest control services.
Happy holidays from WVUA 23.
You know exactly what a medical alert device can do. It provides you with emergency help when you need it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The call center can contact your family, friends, doctors, nurses, emergency services, and more. Protect yourself or a loved one with one of the largest medical emergency response networks for about $1 a day, because you can get free medical alert equipment with no startup costs, all for about $1 a day.
Here's an important message from the Diabetes Solution Center. With your insurance, you may qualify to get a new CGM right now at little or no cost to you. By wearing a small remote device, you can immediately reduce the painful finger sticks. They're accurate, easy to use, and help you make better diabetes treatment decisions. If you take insulin 3 or more times a day or use an insulin pump, I want you to call right now and take advantage of our free shipping offer.
Welcome back for our final segment of Crimson Cover Television here on WVUA. And of course, we are thrilled to be here at Crimson Village, our title sponsor at Crimson Cover and the most active and fun-loving aging adult community in all of Tuscaloosa. Glad to have Tim Eads along. He's the transition specialist here at Crimson Village. Tim, first of all, you've outdressed us all. Congratulations for that. What a get up there.
Thanks, sir. It is
fantastic.
The reason we called We Own Fun in this town. I'm proving it today.
You look like a lot of fun.
Yeah, we are.
Fantastic. I love it.
Oh, that is great. Tim, tell us what's new here at Crimson Village here lately.
Well, in Crimson Village, just a lot going on. With a lot of buildings that we have, we've just acquired a new place here in Tuscaloosa and south of town toward the Ford place, across the highway there. Mm-hmm. We have 30 rooms there. It's a great place. A lot of new activities. That building had a lot of things. We've added so much to it that it's been so good. Comparatively priced in town, it's absolutely phenomenal.
Now, y'all have like a new physical therapy thing?
We do have our own licensed physical therapist in this building and in that building. And we also are the only ones that I know of in town that has a licensed nurse practitioner 8 to 5 Monday through Friday in our buildings.
Wow.
Okay.
So there's a big difference that a lot of people don't have. So if you ever have problems with the doctor or your issues you have and you can't get to your doctor, we can handle it right here. Dr. P's awesome. Across the parking lot as well.
That is awesome.
Tim, every week on Crimson Cover, we mention the amenities here, and John and I and Mike, we've all taken the tour, but for our viewers out there who haven't, why don't you give them a quick verbal tour, just some of the amenities here and all the ways that the residents can enjoy themselves and have some fun.
Well, it's like the anytime dining in the dining room. It is like going to the Piccadilly, where everybody loves to go to the Piccadilly or the old Morrison's that was on the university. We have our own theater room, and it is huge. That TV screen is over 100 inches wide, and it's projected on the wall. We have our own game room that we go to, not just a separate living room. You have 9 living rooms in this whole building to be able to get engaged with other people with games. Wine and cheese parties. That's amazing. Y'all need to come to one of those days.
Come to one of those.
That's a great day to have that party. But there's a lot of things going on. Activities outside, inside the building. Everything's happening. It's every day. We're going Christmas light looking tonight. Can't wait.
And the pool table.
The pool table's right here beside us that y'all have. Y'all did a pool tournament, and I think y'all lost, didn't you?
we did lose, actually. I think we did lose. Absolutely. We got to get back over here.
And the decoration is it's phenomenal.
It is. The whole building. 3 floors.
Yes.
Love to be here. It's a lot of fun here at Crimson Village. All right, Tim's going to stick around for the remainder of the program, taking a quick look around the SEC. And, of course, the big news in the SEC, very sad, very tragic this week, fellas. Mike Leach, the head football coach at Mississippi State, passes away at age 61 of a heart condition. John, too early for sure. A fine football coach and a guy that just about everybody loved. He was a unique personality. He put on some of the best press conferences you'll ever see, and his teams won a lot of games. He went out a winner, having won the Egg Bowl.
It's not going to be the same without Coach Leach. He's one of a kind, and I was glad they brought him to the SEC.
Mike, thoughts on Mike Leach? It's kind of a shock.
I love the things that came out of his mouth. I will miss that. But coaching-wise, offensive genius. Yeah. Offensive genius.
Came from Washington State, of course, and had a lot of success with that air raid offense. Also coached at Texas Tech. A lot of success there, threw the ball all over the field, and gave a lot of defensive coordinators a lot of headaches. All right, quickly we're going to run to the Crimson Cover ticker now. Eagles quarterback Jalen Hurts throws for 217, runs for 77 in a win over the Giants. Broncos wide receiver Jerry Jeudy, 3 touchdown catches and a loss to the Kansas City Chiefs. And Jets defensive tackle Quinnen Williams, couple of sacks. He's got 11 sacks now as an interior guy, John. You know that's not easy.
Pro Bowler.
Big season for Quinnen Williams for sure. All right, to the picks we go. Before we get out of here, we've got 5 bowl games we're looking at. We're, of course, going to start with the Sugar Bowl, Alabama taking on Kansas State. John, you like the Tide, I would assume?
Yeah.
I'm going to take Alabama. I'm with Mike. I'm not sure how motivated they'll be, but I do think they win the game. What about it, Mike?
Bama.
You got Alabama?
Alabama is a close one.
Bama in a close one. I think it'll be pretty close, too. All right, the Peach Bowl, Georgia and Ohio State. That, of course, is one of the playoff semifinals. John, who you got there?
I like Georgia in a blowout.
I think Georgia's going to win, too. I don't know about a rout, but I like the Dogs. Mike?
John's right.
It's going to be a blackout. Georgia's got it.
Georgia's going to put it on them.
Yeah, they are.
All right, the other playoff game, the Fiesta Bowl, Michigan against TCU. John, who you got there?
I like Michigan.
I like TCU. I think they're going to figure out a way to pull it off. What about Mike?
I like Michigan, too.
I'm a Michigan person.
Michigan. All right, I'm all by myself with TCU. That's okay. Rose Bowl, Utah and Penn State. John, what about it?
I like Utah.
I'm going to take the Utes as well.
Utah.
I'd said I've always been a Penn State fan. I'm going to pull for them.
All right.
Hoping they get it.
Tim's got Penn State.
So you kind of like Michigan
really
and Penn State.
Before we get out of here, the Orange Bowl, Tennessee and Clemson. Who you got? I got the Vols.
I got Tennessee, too.
I got Clemson.
I got Tennessee.
All right.
Hold on. Is the quarterback? Is Hooker playing? Is the quarterback playing?
So good to have you here with us.
Clemson.
We'll see you next time on Crimson Cover.
It's good to know that in this impersonal world, there's still a local home-owned drugstore that can take full care of you and your family. The good folks at Northport Pharmacy. Owner and pharmacist Rob Colburn will personally see that all of your prescriptions are quickly and accurately filled and your questions answered. And be sure to check out their gift gallery for the finest in gift selections featuring Alabama merchandise, photo frames, children's clothing, beachwear, jewelry, and more. Remember, when you have pharmaceutical needs, see the man who will take the time to get to know you. Rob Colburn at Northport Pharmacy, located next to CC's Pizza, Highway 82 in Northport.
To Baseball Country, a ministry in West Alabama that reaches far outside the diamond. We create opportunities for people of all ages and backgrounds to encounter Jesus. From baseball and softball training for high school to the big leagues, to men's and women's team sports camps, men's and women's ministry, youth mentored hunts, service projects, custom retreats, and so much more. If you want to get in the game, email sam@baseballcountry.com and follow us on Facebook and Instagram.
Attention mothers, did you take Tylenol or other acetaminophen pain-relieving products while pregnant? Recent evidence suggests children whose mothers took Tylenol while pregnant may be more likely to develop autism. Other acetaminophen products at risk include